Hello, welcome to RC Video Reviews. It's Maiden Day for the E-Flite Conscendo Evolution. Hey, real quick on the build, I only have a couple things I'll point out. It's a real simple assembly, but the tail is very flexible. And what I wound up doing was just cutting a few slits in the back and adding a couple of pieces of fiberglass sparring that I had, and I just covered it with CA. So that got it much more firm, much more rigid in both the lateral and longitudinal axes. And then the other thing that I had to do was the battery strap inside. The mounting plate actually came out of the mounting holes, so I simply had to glue that back in. Other than that, everything else kind of went together very easy. This is a super easy assembly. Before we take off, I just want to do one last control systems check. So I expect the right aileron to come up, and it does. I expect left to come up, and it does. I expect up elevator, and I got it. I expect left rudder, but there we go. Left rudder, right rudder, everything looks good. All right, let's launch this thing. This is the first time I've had a chance to get out to the field since they put the new runway down. So it's looking really good. And they've got the center tape down, and it's a little curly down at the end there, but the runway overall looks pretty good. We've got to see some grass come in and kind of fix up where the work has been done, but I'd say overall looks pretty nice. That was about as easy as it gets. Very nice, very nice. Not a lot of trim required, at least initially. I'm just gonna fly for a minute and kind of feel it out, but yeah, no trim. It's flying straight. All right, I've got to work my way back to the safety area, or the pilot flying stations, without killing myself with all of our construction. So let's do that next. Boy, easy flyer. Very, very easy flyer. I'm flying this with a, oh, that was motor off. I have a 4-cell 1550 up front, and I have it balanced. They recommend 57 millimeters to 71 millimeters, and I split the difference. I have it balanced right in between the two. Yeah, nice. I'm going to use just a touch of up elevator, but not much, just a couple clicks. And that's motor off, so hopefully you see the prop not spinning there. Yeah, cool. Very, very low power setting to maintain that speed. It takes nothing at all. Nothing at all. I think right away you're kind of comfortable with it. I mean, it's just easy. Not twitchy at all. It's not sensitive about any axis. It just kind of cruises. I love it when the motor's off too, man. That sounds kind of cool. You get that whoosh sound as it goes flying by. Nice. I guess the way I feel about this is this would be a really good second plane. Maybe even a first plane. I think the first plane might be a little rough, mainly because the fuselage is real small, and it might be an orientation problem for you if you're not familiar with flying, maybe. But it is a high wing design. There is just a touch of dihedral. And as you can see while I fly around, it's just a very mild-mannered airframe. And I'm just gonna kill the power and see how long I can have it loft up there and just circle a little bit. Very slow mover, very slow. All right, need a little power now because I've got a lot of elevator to maintain that. And I'm afraid that any more and I would have stalled it, maybe. It is a glider though. They tend to be tolerant of such things. I didn't have to do any programming on the ESC, by the way. It just, the stop function worked right out of the gate. And just basically bringing my throttle to 0 stops the motor. Boy, yeah, this, it reminds me of that ASW 28. I said the same thing about the ASW 28. it's just comfortable. It's just like an easygoing, mild-mannered plane. There's no twitchiness. It feels just like it's at home up there. And that's not bad, you know. It's fun to fly planes that have an attitude, but this is not bad either because it's comfortable. You don't feel really any tension. I do have a variometer. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. And I'm going to climb out with power. Yep, variometer is working for sure. And now I'm going to decline with power off, or descend with power off. Yep. Okay, I know some of you guys like that, but that's about all the variometer I can take. But it works. So I may fiddle with that later. But you know, this plane, one cool thing about this plane is it's a lot easier to handle. The wingspan's a little bit shorter. I think it's 55, don't hold me to it, but I think it's 55 inches, so a little bit easier to handle in the car. And for that reason, maybe a little more conducive to regular flights or trips to the field. All right, there's the Maiden. I think what I'm going to do is reverse my pattern, fly a couple of approaches, and just kind of get a feel for low and slow over the grass. Beautiful little airplane. Yeah, that doesn't feel like that's going to be much trouble to land at all. So I'm going to go ahead and land it over the grass because the runway has got debris, so I'd rather land over the grass. I'm going to land out in the field a little bit because the grass nearby also has debris, and I'd rather just stay out of all that. So here we go with the first approach, attempt to land. I am power off right now. I'm just kind of keeping it flat, and look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I mean, what's there to say, right? I've got no complaints about flight. I mean, that's about as easy as it can get. I don't know how much easier you can expect RC flying to be than that, but that was definitely no drama. Okay, I got the Conscendo down on the ground, did a quick inspection. Not much to this plane, so let's get her up in the air again, take it for another flight. Easy launch plane, very, very easy launch plane. And of course the sun came out and I have no friggin' sunglasses. Isn't that always the way? Thanks a lot, Florida. That's all right, we'll just fly on this side. For those of you who fly the gliders, I'll answer the question right now and say yes, I'm using mostly rudder turns. I don't even really need the ailerons. The rudder just kind of brings it around. So yes, to answer that question immediately, mostly rudder. You know, I forgot, it's such an easygoing plane. I haven't done any other tests. I haven't done inverted and I haven't done my yaw test, mainly because it just doesn't feel like it needs anything. And yeah, that's the fixed wing flying overhead, directly overhead. Yeah, easy loops, no problem. I don't know what my radio's grousing about, probably the throttle being over 50%. Try a quick roll. Not so much. Not so much. I'm sure with the rates turned up. In fact, yeah, I got my rates high right now, but I'm sure if I crank those in, maybe, but yeah, not so much. Not feeling that very much, to be honest. A little touch and go with the glider, not bad. Let's crank it. I haven't done a high-speed run. Let's do that. Everyone says the thing scoots along at 4S, so let's try it. Yeah, that scoots. That scoots. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's my fixed wing back overhead. Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie, this is a good little plane. It's kind of like a cool little limbo plane. It just feels so easy natured coming down that there's no real sink rate to it, so you can get it real low and kind of hold it down there. It's really kind of cool that way. Oh, I tried hitting the throttle after the prop bumped the ground. That's why I heard that loud squeal, so that's it. That's all right. Yeah, this is definitely kind of fun to do limbo. It's so easy to get low. It doesn't crash in hard. It just kind of coasts. Neat, neat. Strong climb out. Yeah, this thing is great. Yeah, I mean, for 169 bucks, you know, what's cool about this is it's a very simple plane. You're not going to be futzing around with flaps or landing gear. Good efficiency. It's kind of fun to cruise around and get down low. And it's got, you know, I wouldn't say it's athletic when it comes to aerobatics, but it feels good flying. That's for sure. That's all right. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's not athletic, right? It's definitely not a 3D plane. It's not a, you know, aggressive sport plane, but, you know, it does fine. It's not like flying a Bixler, right? It's not like that at all. It's got some sport capability. Definitely, I think this would be a great second plane. You know, get past your trainer, whatever you're using. If you're using a crash test hobby albatross or a flight test plane or whatever, you know, if you're using something like that to train and you want to get your first, second plane, this one would be a really good choice. The hand launching is super easy. It's got very docile characteristics for flying. I like it. It literally took me like under an hour to put this together. I think if I spent 30 minutes on it, 20 of it was messing with the receiver. I mean, it really, it's like 4 screws on the wing. You got to figure out a way to get your receiver tucked in and connected, and that's it. Tape on your horizontal stabilizer and off you go. Okay, I wanted to go up and get my battery meter just to get an idea. Thanks, telemetry lost warning. But I wanted to get an idea of where the plane came down. I'll get a feel in post how long the flight was, but I did want to plug this in just to get a feel for how long this 1554 cell lasted and what kind of voltage. I expect it to be, let me just take a guess. I'm going to say probably 395. That's my guess, because I was off power most of the time. Oh, 4 volts. So yeah, this is a nice long flyer on a 4 cell. Yeah, 1550. You could probably even go smaller if you got some 1300 4 cells. That might even be a better choice in terms of fit. I did have to cram this one in there a little bit, and I'll show you real quick. Here's the battery tray I was talking about right here. That just had to be glued in. But yeah, I mean, there you go. This is a nice budget airplane. It's a nice budget kind of starter plane. The only real gripes I have about it is that they could have done a better job on that tail section, reinforcing that to keep it from flexing, but it was a fairly minor fix on my part. And you know, we've seen glue parts fall out before. That's not a crime. You know, these things are shipped from overseas, they get hot, the glue softens, stuff happens. You don't worry about that, you just fix it. So a very minor repair to get that done. So overall, I'm gonna say 2 thumbs up. I like this plane. It's very mild-mannered, and if you're new, this might be a really good second plane for you. It might be a really good one. Oh, I did have one other gripe, and that's the tape on the back. The only holding mechanism or retention mechanism they have on the back right here is tape, and you're supposed to tape it from the horizontal stabilizer to the plastic, which is fine. In and of itself, I don't mind. But the tape they gave to do it, I could not separate from the backing, and I've got some claws. I used a razor blade, I tried using my nails, I couldn't separate the damn thing. So that was aggravating. I wound up just using blender and tape instead, and that worked just fine. So yeah, other than that, and that's a minor gripe. I'd say overall, for me, I'm highly satisfied with this plane. I think for trim, 2 clicks of trim, man, that's all I did. 2 clicks elevator trim, that was it. I can see why people have a very high opinion of this model. Well, listen, I hope you enjoyed the content and the video. If you like this kind of material, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when new material hits the channel. That's all I've got for today. Take it easy. Hey, if you like the work I do here on RC Video Reviews, please consider joining me on Patreon. For about the price of a cup of coffee, you can help me keep making videos just like this one. If you'd like to help out, there's a link in the description and on your screen.